Teddy Talks. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Teddy Talks After Hours, where we pause, rewind, and unpack each episode. And this is for grown-ups only. It's the big ear listeners out there. So, yeah, maybe your kids are off at baseball practice, or they're off to bed, or out to recess if you're a teacher. So we're going to talk straight up to the parents and educators out there listening about this episode. So I'm really excited to be here with Eric Rogers, our guest today on Teddy Talks. As we mentioned in the episode, he's a Hollywood producer, so fancy, a screenwriter, creator of the upcoming Amazon Prime show Angry Birds Mystery Island, and a writer on the podcast Drac, which I love because it's about a vampire with a thirst for knowledge. How cute is that? So, Eric, welcome.
Thank you. Great being here.
So before we dive in, we're going to unpack this episode. I would just love to get to know you better and have your listeners understand your journey here. So can you share with our listeners what prompted you to get into writing? Like, was it in your dream journal when you were a child? Like, I would like to be an award-winning writer. Was that in your journal, or did you happen upon the career?
No journal involved, but and not really happening upon it. From a pretty early age, I knew I was a storyteller via how I would entertain myself as a 7-8-year-old kid. I'm going to date myself here, but this is back when the G.I. Joes and the original Star Wars figures, action figures and toys were all very popular in the 80s. And at those ages, I preferred sitting in my bedroom with my action figures and acting out even basically, stories. I'm sitting there and putting dialogue into these little action figures' mouths and figuring out like big action scenes and, all that good stuff. So I knew that the storytelling thing was in my DNA, but it really didn't become something that was a path for me or a goal or something that I thought basically take that dream and make it a reality until high school. I took a writing class. I was in a writing class and an English class, but the focus was on writing. And I had an assignment where the teacher asked, you need to write a 7 or 8 page fictional story. And I went nuts with it. And I actually ended up writing, and by the way, this is double spaced, like 6-7 pages double spaced. I went nuts with it and I ended up writing like a 50-page Die Hard knockoff. And I turned that in thinking that was something sane people did. So my teacher, a couple of days go by and my teacher's now handing back the assignments to everybody in class. And he doesn't give me mine. He just says, as he passes my desk, come see me after class. So I thought, I bombed it. I'm in so much trouble now. And instead, I go see him after class and he, hands me my work back and I've got an A on it. And he said, this is really advanced. You really have a gift. I really think you should pursue this. And this teacher, his name was Tom Romano. He is a writer himself. He wrote books on writing. So having not just a teacher, but somebody who is unequivocally an expert on writing tell you have the thing, you have the gift, that put inside of me the confidence to go, I can do this. I can try this. I should go after this. And it was really from that point on, I think I was 15, 16. At that point, it was not just something fun to do, but it was, I want to be Stephen King. And that was my favorite author growing up too. I was like, I want to be Stephen King. I want to write stories that make people, that move people the way my favorite artists and authors move me. So I don't know if I've moved anyone in my career, but I've certainly been lucky and fortunate and blessed enough to make a career out of this. And so far so good, as they say.
What I literally got the chills when you were talking about the teacher. And so for all you teachers out there, just know that like one comment and boosting a kid's confidence can change their life trajectory. I'm like almost tearing up because it's so powerful. And we can all probably, every one of us, think of a teacher, an adult, a mentor who said like, you know what, I think you're pretty good at this.
Yeah.
And it gives you that boost. So teachers out there, A+ to all of y'all for inspiring kids like Eric out there. And I will date myself too. I have to admit, I played with strawberry shortcakes quite a lot.
There you go.
So that's a very 80s. Care Bears, all that stuff. So
That's
I'm
right
there with you.
Fantastic.
So yeah, one of the things that we like to do is, first off, in Teddy Talks, if you probably noticed as a writer, we love puns. We're really big into it. So the first one, and I know you appreciate a good pun, is we pause, spelled Paws, and we kind of unpack the episode. And so in this one, this episode was really all about helping children understand that we are all artists and we are all unique in our own way. So I want to ask you, why is this topic of talking to kids about being unique and embracing their inner artist so important to you?
I think it harkens back to what we were just talking about with having a teacher put that confidence into you, right? Whatever you want to do in life, you can do it. I think it's so important for kids to hear, especially at a young age. There's nothing you can't do if you set your mind to it. If you have that dream, go after it. What's really kind of cool and great about pursuing your dreams is that might not achieve the dream you set out to achieve, but there are other things that happen along the way. Other dreams kind of splinter out from big dreams, and you find different paths in life to make you happy or fulfill you or give you purpose. It's not always about, I want to, I'm an 8-year-old and I want to be a Major League Baseball player someday. It's about somebody saying, yeah, you should go after that. You should pursue that. If that's important to you, I want you to go after that and have fun with it and follow your passion. Follow your passion is really important. Even if you don't become a Major League Baseball player, you might end up being good enough to be a college coach, or you might be the dad who coaches your kids' little league team to their championship. And there are things like that that can be very satisfying and fulfilling, even if it's not this big ticket thing that you don't achieve that big ticket thing. There's all sorts of ways of finding happiness and making dreams come true, even if it's not always the big thing. But I think the important thing about saying all that is I don't think anybody should ever tell any kid you can't do that at any age. I don't think we should say it to adults either, if I'm being honest. But to kids specifically, I think especially younger kids, if they say they want to be an astronaut, you give them, put that confidence into them and say, yeah, you are going to go to Mars, and yeah, in the back of your head, you might have a good feeling or an instinct that that's not going to happen. But at the same time, don't take that away from them. Let them have that goal and purpose and dream and passion. And like I said, you never know where this stuff will lead. You might just end up being the first person on Mars. You never know. So why stranger things have happened throughout the history of this world. So don't take that away from a kid. Let a kid have that passion and whatever that passion is.
I totally agree with that. And I think when the kids are little, we embrace that. They're like, I want to be like, my daughter made a vision board one year because she saw me making a vision board for the new year.
Mm-hmm.
And she put on there that she wanted to be a cloud toucher. Like, I don't know what job that is. And I don't know if there's a market for that. But I was like, girl, yes. What do you need to reach the clouds? And she's like, I need to invent a jetpack. So like, maybe she will be. Who knows? But I think as kids get older, that adults sort of kind of project their own, like, that's going to be hard or that's not feasible, or like find a backup plan, kiddo. Imagine if your teacher had told you, this is great, but writing, there's not a lot of money in it. So you might want to think about a backup plan, like how that would have changed your life. So I think we need to honor kids and adults, as you said, throughout their development. Even if someone's trying to start a new career, if you're a parent out there and you're like, you know what, I want to do something different. I think we all learn from Teddy Talks. You do you. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to put a period on that, my wife, when COVID happened in 2020, we all kind of hit pause, right? And she decided at that point that the career she was on, the career path she was on, was unfulfilling. So she went back to college, and she's going to be a senior in college next year in her 40s, So, and it was very intimidating for her. And she thought it was silly. But I said to her, no way, if this is what you want, go after that. And she's crushing it. So, again, it doesn't cost anyone anything to be positive and to give people a nudge in the right direction. I firmly believe that. Even if the success isn't found, it doesn't hurt or cost you anything to be the person that goes, yeah, go after it, go for it,
Yeah, and let's just rewind in the episode, the kind of advice you gave Grizzle and Grizzlette, right? You shared with and also the listener that, like, if you compare yourself to others, that can really steal joy from something you want to do. Or, if there is something you want to do, but you're not amazing at it, that's okay. Just do things for fun. And lastly, in the episode, we really encouraged our little ear listeners out there to really run their own race. Do you think there's been any sort of generational shifts in mindset? Like the parents out there listening, do you think they heard that message when they were little, like run your own race? Do you think that's something that's a new phenomenon?
I think that it is, in the sense that I think that we understand this generation, this present that we're in. I think the parents of today, we understand that kids are more unique in ways that we might not have realized in previous generations. So even if the phrase run your own race isn't being said specifically, I think that we are recognizing, today's parents are recognizing that kids are expressing themselves and showing you their uniqueness in ways that probably previously was hidden or not encouraged, or they were just afraid to do. I think social media and the internet has a lot to do with that. I think that it's very empowering for kids who feel different and unique and maybe not comfortable in their own skin to see a kid on TikTok or Instagram, doing their thing. You see that somebody's like you and you go, oh my gosh, that person's not only like me, but they're putting themselves out in front of the entire world and showing them who they are. I think that is, it, it's not that parents aren't doing that, but I think kids being able to see other kids like themselves in a broader way, in a bigger way, in a quicker way than ever possible in the history of this world is empowering a lot of kids. And I think that's awesome. I know that it can be a little tricky as far as some parenting goes, but I think it's amazing for kids to be able to see that and to, feel that empowerment, and to go, at earlier ages, go, this is who I am. This is who I want to be. And I'd love your support on that. And hopefully we all go, yeah, you know what? I love you for you. You are the center of my universe. And I'm going to give you all the tools and power that I can for you to be as happy as possible. Because we all know this world's rough enough. So let's make it as smooth a path as possible for kids while they're kids. And, I tell this to my son all the time. I'm like, slow down and enjoy being a child, enjoy being a kid, and enjoy letting us spoil you and all that, because you're going to get to adulthood soon enough. And then you're going to be like, oh man, mom and dad were right. This adulthood thing is tricky. So yeah.
That's what every parent lives for, is for someday their kids to come back and be like, you were right. So
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. And I completely agree with you about social media. While it has downfalls, and certainly there's a conversation around that, what I've
Yeah.
seen as a school psychologist in particular is a more celebrating of uniqueness, celebrating diversity, celebrating playing with, gender identities, and playing with putting yourself out there. And I think that it can be a little bit of a minefield for parents out there, but
Yeah.
I think that it is a really great point that we didn't have none. There was no Care Bear TikTok or
Right.
GI Joe stuff like
Yeah.
that, or we could express in that way. But I think it's
That's
really
right.
powerful to think about. I always say social media is like a hammer. Like it's a tool, right? Like you can
Right.
destroy things or you can build beautiful things. And I think
That's right.
there's some forms of social media that can be seen as art and expression, and there's some real creative
Yeah.
stuff out there. Um,
Yeah.
so I want to also rewind this episode a little bit, and then rewind back to when you were little. You shared, when you started finally identifying as a writer, but you've always really identified as a storyteller. So now is a chance for you to take this. Here's a story for you. You have a time machine, okay? You hop in and you can transport back to little Eric. And what advice would you give him, your younger self, at whatever age point? What do you wish you knew about pursuing a career and being an artist and a writer?
That is an awesome question. It's very apropos of everything we're talking about. I would tell the kid version of myself, it's okay to be different and to lean into that and not feel so anxious or feeling like you have to be like everybody else. There were definitely times that I felt like I had to play baseball and basketball because that's what all my friends were doing. And I love those sports, by the way. I mean, I'm a sports nut, but as a younger kid, I was not good at sports. And there's a lot of that pressure to be like, oh, I got to be like everybody else. And I definitely would tell my younger self, you don't have to be like everybody else, because when you become an adult, you've got this thing that's going to give you a career and lead you to places that you couldn't even dream about right now. So, lean into that earlier, own that earlier. And, that phrase, stand in your truth, it's okay to be different. I mean, and some of the greatest artists in the world, like they were that, they were different and outside. And it just takes a lot of time for a lot of us to get to the point where you go, oh, I'm okay with this. I am this person. I am good with this. Yeah. And as far as I'd say my 20s self to late teens, early 20s self, when I really started to go, okay, I am going to pursue this career and go after it full force. I think I would tell that version of myself, trust your gut. There are a lot of times that my head made decisions that my gut knew were wrong. It led to a little bit of stunted growth, I would say, or stunted progress. And I can look back and probably count out a handful of times where I'm like, oh, wow, I knew in my gut that was not the thing I should be doing. But the rest of society and things in my head and pressures from being an adult or a grown up made me make a choice that I wish I had made a different one on. So there's definitely there's that part of it too, where just your gut is rarely wrong. So I wish my younger self trusted his gut a little more than he did.
Yeah. All right. So here's what we're going to do. How's the story ends? We're going to get in the time machine. Episodes of Teddy Talks, episodes of DRAC. This podcast, we're going to transport it to your younger self at various stages, and hopefully all the parents out there as well. We can we'll work out the technology later. I mean, AI is really doing some wonderful things, and we'll get there. All right. Awesome. So lastly, I want to kind of unpack this episode for the adult listeners out there. So, we have the little ones who listen to the run your own race. And if you do art, you're an artist messaging. What is something you want to say out there to the parents, to the adults out there about, helping your kids follow their bliss, even if they're not as good at something as someone else and they're having that compare despair? What advice do you have for parents or educators out there listening? Big ears.
Oh, wow. That's a great question too. I think that the simple answer is, encourage kids, be a force of positivity and not negativity. I've said it a couple times now that there's so much that's negative in this world. There's so much that is just a downer at times. And, the things that bring us joy, let's not take those away from kids at all. Like and yeah, again, if a kid says, I want to be a YouTuber or I want to be a gamer, there are slippery slopes. There's slippery slopes with everything. But hey, there are people out there that are making fabulous careers out of these things. And, their parents probably were the ones that are like, yeah, go and dive in, you do your homework and get good grades in school. But yeah, if you're good at video gaming, crush it, So, I think it's that fine dance of allowing a child to pursue a kid to pursue their passion and what makes them happy. And then also as us as parents we do have a responsibility to make sure that at the end of the day, you're doing okay in school and we as parents are recognizing the things that could be the things that in the future are your path or are the things that will make you stand out and be unique. So, I think we as parents and educators also, I think that we see those things sometimes when kids don't, and kids will I'll use my son as an example. He wants to be a Major League Baseball player. I brought that up a couple times. He wants to be a Major League Baseball player when he grows up. I am not discouraging that ever, but I also see that he's an exceptional drummer and he takes drum lessons. I don't hear a lot of, I'm going to be a drummer when I grow up, but I, as a parent, go, kid, that's a pretty good path for you because I see a lot of talent and a lot of passion there that you're not necessarily, owning, but I'm going to sit back as a parent and go, okay, I'm taking notes because I want to make sure that as much as you want to be a baseball player, I got to make sure that this drumming thing could be a thing for you too. So, it's like I said, it's it's a really fine, tricky dance of just making sure you're not crushing a kid's dream, but you're also keeping tabs on the things that you think they're going to actually be able to achieve in life. And that's hard. It
It
is
is
not
hard.
easy to
And
do.
to your earlier point, though, I think generationally there was like, you pick a job and you do that till retirement. And now there's this like,
Yeah.
this community, and your wife included, was like, you know what? I'm going to do that for a while. And then I'm going to do that for a while. And
Yeah.
now I'm going to reinvent myself. So, when we ask kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Really what they're answering when they answer that out there, what they're really saying is what they like to do. Right.
That's right.
Or
That's right.
what they're imagine they want to be doing. And to your point, let's not be dream squashers, but let's also have well-rounded children who have multiple things as well.
Exactly right. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to end, Eric, with a very big bonus question. Are you ready?
Oh boy. All
right. So first is a quiz. Did you know that Grizzle and Grizzlette, when I'm showing it, for if you're watching the video, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see. It's Grizzle and Grizzlette are actual bears from the 80s. Well, and I looked online the other day, I'm like, are there any more of these little guys out there? And I found some on the eBay vintage section, and that hurt my feelings. But anyway, so Grizzlette was my bear. Grizzle was my sister's bear. And so many stories these bears have told. And you told us a little bit about you as a child, but do you have like a favorite item, a Grizzlette, if you will, from childhood, a childhood bear or Lovey? Like, tell us a little story.
I am going to make everybody so sad right now. I wasn't a Lovey kid. I didn't have my kid loves his stuffies, and like, he's an 11-year-old boy and he's all boy, but like, he's like at the end of the night, he's like, he still has his Mickey Mouse and his he got this little lamb toy. We went to New Zealand once and he still sleeps with that. And I think it's so great. And the reason I bring that up is because I wasn't a kid who had those things. Like, I don't know why. I think maybe after this, I'll get on the phone with my mom and go, why didn't you give me stuffies? No, I won't do that to her.
But did you snuggle your G.I. Joes? Did you line them up and cuddle those guys?
Well, no, I don't know if I cuddled them, but I bet that I definitely would line them up perfectly on a bookshelf and be like, you guys watch over me as I sleep, But yeah. But I just never was a stuffed animal kid. It's funny. I'm sure like I said, if I call my mom, she'll probably say, oh, this is the one. You don't remember that? And I'll be like, no, I don't remember that. But the reason I brought my son up is that as long as he wants to sleep with those things and they give him comfort, I'm not going to take those away. But he is now reaching the point where because somebody comes over for a sleepover, he's like, I got to hide my loveys. I'm like, oh, okay. So, getting to that, tween age where it's like, I love them if nobody can see me with them. But, if somebody's here at the house, it's like, oh, I don't love, those aren't mine,
Yeah.
So.
Well, here's a message to your son. I'm a grown woman playing with teddy bears, so
there
you do you, right?
There you go. That's right.
The theme carries through. Well, thank you so much for your time and for collaborating on this episode. We are so happy to have you. And everyone, please go check out all of Eric's fabulous writing. And thank you to, what was your teacher's name?
Mr. Romano, Tom Romano.
Tom Romano, if you're listening, thank you, because you helped bring wonderful things like Drac and Angry Birds into the world. So thank you so much for your time.
This was awesome. Thank you guys for having me. This is a really fun experience. Thank you.
Teddy Talks. Teddy Talks. Teddy Talks.
Teddy Talks.